From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, July 8th. Going to have some off and on rain and storms throughout much of the day. We'll slightly cool off from yesterday. We'll have highs in the low to mid 80s.
It's just sad. I mean, they're just doing their job, and it's just a shame to hear it.
A stunned and mourning community may get more answers into the killing of a police detective in Terre, Haute. The FBI is set to offer new details about what's being called an ambush attack. This morning, agencies all across the country are grieving Detective Greg Ferency. Ferency was working as part of an FBI task force when he was shot in the line of duty yesterday afternoon. It happened near the Vigo County Courthouse. A line of law enforcement vehicles escorted his body through the city, passed by his station. The FBI is now handling the investigation. So far, a motive isn't clear, but we do know the suspect in the shooting is in custody and at last check was at a local hospital. He was in surgery last night after being shot by another federal agent. Law enforcement says that Detective Ferency was on the Terre Haute Police Department, but for the last 11 years was assigned to the FBI task force. The FBI tells us that Ferency was ambushed and fatally shot at around 2:15 yesterday afternoon. State police say it happened outside the federal building at 1st Street and Wabash Court near the Vigo County Courthouse. According to investigators, the suspect was shot by another federal agent, then driven to the hospital in a pickup truck. The rear windshield and the back window on the passenger side of that truck appeared to be broken. But Indiana State Police made it clear there was no ongoing threat to the community.
Felt that it was important the community knows that there's no threat to them, that I hope that they'll recognize the Terre Haute police officers and thank them for their service. And this is just yet again another example of a police officer that is willing to die for someone that hates who we are. And Greg Ferency's owed a debt of gratitude that we'll never be able to repay.
At this point, it's not clear what the suspect and Detective Ferency were doing before the shooting. But because he was killed on federal property, the FBI is handling the investigation. So we do hope to learn more from them when investigators speak today. And this morning, the Purdue volleyball team is paying its respects to Ferency. The team's Twitter account shared a picture with him and calling him a dear friend and supporter of the program. The team's coach says in a post that Ferency often attended matches with his daughter and that the team will continue to compete for him. And the Terre Haute Police Department is sharing a post thanking anyone who's offered kind posts, emails, and calls. People tell us they are grateful for Detective Ferency's 30 years of service. He is now the third Terre Haute officer to die in the line of duty in the last 10 years. One man in the community expressed that this is especially tragic for the department.
Sad for, of course, the families, but it then makes it that much more difficult for the folks who are part of the force to remain.
As soon as funeral arrangements for Detective Ferency are announced, we will let you know. 3 undercover officers are wounded in a shooting in Chicago. One is a Chicago police officer. The other 2 are ATF agents. Investigators say someone shot the 3 as they went to an assignment in an unmarked car. Police say they do have a person of interest in custody. They've not said if it is the shooter. The city's police chief says it's the 36th time this year someone has fired at or hit officers in the city. In a tweet, David Brown writes, "Gun violence affects all of us." And a neighborhood on the north side of Indianapolis is on edge as police investigate a deadly shooting in a busy area. We told you about Tuesday's gunfight in a car along 86th Street. Nora talked about it here on the podcast. It shocked people in a spot filled with homes, stores, restaurants, and the Monon Trail.
I was frightened a little bit, when I got home and I saw what happened. I was like, oh my gosh, I was there.
News 8's Dan Klein talked to one business owner who's glad he just missed that drama.
And we got your supplements, perfect.
Business is steady Wednesday afternoon for Tony Cancevellos, owner of the Nora Apothecary.
I was shocked. I didn't expect, to see something like that right beside our pharmacy.
No more than 30 minutes after Cancevellos had cleaned up and locked up for the evening Tuesday, police say there was a gunfight in a car nearby. Officers believe several shots were fired outside on 86th Street. A passenger named Tavon Bickham was hit and jumped out. He later died at the hospital. The car then went into the Nora Plaza, where more shots were fired, and the driver was injured.
I was frightened a little bit, when I got home and I saw what happened. I was like, oh my gosh, I was there. I was minutes away from what happened and what could have happened.
While many stores in the area were closed, it happened around 7:30, with several hours still of daylight left. Shocking to people who have lived or worked here for years.
It is a safe area. Yes, I truly believe that Nora is a safe area.
As police try to unravel exactly what happened, they're hopeful that surveillance cameras in the area can help. They're also thankful that with several big stores in the area and customers in the parking lot, no one else was hit.
There's innocent people just walking around. I mean, if they had something going on between them that they had a disagreement, that's fine. It's, we can't control that, but an innocent person, kid, walking into Whole Foods or Target and catches a bullet, that's just terrible.
We gotta take care of our pet patients.
Cancevellos warned his staff Wednesday morning to keep the guard up. He had a few calls from customers who just wanted to check in to make sure everyone at the pharmacy was okay. As for any long-term impact, he's not too worried.
I guess time will tell, really. I hope that, what happened doesn't happen again. I do believe that Nora is a safe community.
I'm Dan Klein for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook.
IMPD is not saying anything new on the case. Investigators said they spoke to a person of interest, but we don't know if that person's in custody. Japan's prime minister is set to place Tokyo under a state of emergency. This will likely ban all fans from attending this month's Olympic Games. The capital city has been grappling with spreading coronavirus infections. Government officials have proposed a plan to issue a state of emergency in Tokyo starting Monday through August 22nd. The Olympics are set to begin on July 23rd and close August 8th, so right there in that window. And the world has hit a grim pandemic milestone. The count from Johns Hopkins University now tops 4 million deaths worldwide since the count started in February of last year. And the CDC is reporting a steady climb in cases in the United States. So they have this map online. You can go and find it. And it really lays out what states are struggling the most with the virus. At this point, Indiana's numbers are worse than most of our neighbors, with a 7-day average of 310 cases. The state health department is pushing for unvaccinated people to get their shot. Health officials say being vaccinated is the best way to protect yourself and others from the Delta variant. The strain now accounts for 50% of new cases in the U.S. Some who received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, you may wonder if you need a booster shot, if it'll offer you better protection from the variant. Wish TV medical expert and former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams explained what the newest research is showing.
Just last week, there were new studies that came out that showed that the J&J vaccine provided durable protection 8 months after the first dose, so no need for a booster yet, and that it was effective against the Delta variant, again, particularly in preventing hospitalization and severe disease. So stay tuned, but people who got the J&J vaccine, and that's 11 million people in the U.S., know right now that things are still looking pretty good for you.
According to state health officials, more than 2.8 million people are fully vaccinated in Indiana. And one group of virus experts claims that it knows the origin of COVID-19. The group of 20 experts from various countries says the virus came from an animal, not from a laboratory. In a review shared online, the experts write there is no evidence the virus came from the Institute of Virology in Wuhan, China. Instead, the group writes that the link to Wuhan could be from the city being the largest in central China with multiple animal markets. And today is the start of a milestone summer celebration from Indiana Black Expo. It's the 50th year for the event. Kickoff is 7 tonight at Grace Apostolic Church at 22nd and College. Summer celebration unfolds over the next 10 days with events ranging from concerts to conversations. It'll also feature the Black and Minority Health Fair, offering free health screenings. The health fair starts a week from tomorrow. The U.S. Small Business Administration is offering help for people cleaning up after storms and flooding in June. You'll likely remember parts of Monroe County dealt with flooded homes, businesses, and cars. The SBA says people and businesses affected can now apply for low-interest disaster loans. Those can be used to repair or replace damaged equipment, inventory, and real estate. There are 3 types of loans available: business physical, economic injury, and home disaster loans. If you need more information, just pick up your phone right now or go to use your computer, whatever you need to go to wishtv.com. And we have more on this in a story in the As Seen on Wish TV section. And this morning, IMPD is piecing together the moments before a man was shot and killed on the east side. It happened on Bel Air Drive yesterday afternoon, just after 4:30. That's near 38th Street and North Post Road. According to police, officers found the man shot in a vehicle. He was taken to the hospital and died. Police have not released the name of that person, nor any information about a possible suspect. And today, we expect to learn more about a new body-worn camera program for Indiana State police officers. ISP Superintendent Doug Carter is set to speak about the program from the agency's Indianapolis Post on East 21st Street. That's set for 11 o'clock this morning. And the search for survivors at the condo collapse in Florida is over. An emotional scene developed as crews held a moment of silence when the focus of the effort moved to recovery. It's been a round-the-clock mission in Surfside for teams seeking miracles. Officials came to the conclusion yesterday that there is no chance of life. The community's mayor explains that decision to transition was not an easy one. The search recovered 8 more bodies. The confirmed death toll is 54. 86 people are still missing. In Haiti, 2 people are under arrest for the assassination of Haiti's president. That's according to the country's ambassador, who told CNN 4 more suspects were shot and killed by police. He added that the suspects were from foreign countries. As I mentioned on the podcast yesterday, President Jovenel Moïse was assassinated during an attack at his house. Haiti's first lady was also injured in that attack. And today, President Biden is expected to deliver remarks on Afghanistan. That's according to Reuters. This comes days after troops left Bagram Air Force Base, once the command center of America's longest war. U.S. officials say that its troop withdrawal is now more than 90% complete. Rudy Giuliani can no longer practice law in Washington, D.C. An appeals court says Giuliani cannot act as an attorney in the nation's capital, in keeping with the suspension of his license in New York. Giuliani is the former New York City mayor who served as a personal attorney for former President Trump. The New York suspension stems from false and misleading statements Giuliani made about the 2020 election. And former President Donald Trump is suing 3 major tech companies. Trump filed a lawsuit against Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, which is owned by Google. The former president says he wants his accounts on the platforms reinstated.
We're demanding an end to the shadow banning, a stop to the silencing, and a stop to the blacklisting, banishing, and canceling that you know so well.
As of this morning, Trump is banned from Twitter and his Facebook and YouTube accounts are suspended. And a security warning from Microsoft. The company's asking people to update their Windows computers immediately. The company says researchers found a security problem called Print Nightmare with a service called Windows Print Spooler. The process lets multiple users access a single printer. According to the company, researchers accidentally published a guide to exploit the problem. Microsoft says hackers could use the fault to install programs and make changes to people's computers. The company says Windows 10 and Windows 7 are affected. And this morning, the southeastern part of the United States is on high alert as a weakened but resilient tropical storm Elsa moves through. The National Weather Service will be out to determine if it was a tornado that touched down in Georgia. So multiple injuries have been reported. While there is extensive damage, the Naval Submarine Base Kings Bay says that there was no damage to any sensitive military asset or submarine. That is the area where a possible twister hit. The storm did turn deadly in Florida. 1 person was killed in Jacksonville when a tree fell on a car. States like Georgia and South Carolina are now preparing for the possibility of more tornado warnings and storm surges. Elsa is expected to weaken as it moves north through the Carolinas. It's expected to reach New England by tomorrow. And Robert Downey Jr. is remembering his father, Robert Downey Sr., after his death. Jr. says his father passed away in his sleep Tuesday after years of dealing with Parkinson's disease. The actor shared a picture with his dad on Instagram, writing, "He was a true maverick filmmaker and remained remarkably optimistic throughout. According to my stepmom's calculations, they were happily married for just over 2,000 years." Downey Sr. was an actor and filmmaker with roles in Boogie Nights and Greaser's Palace. He was 85 years old. The Tampa Bay Lightning are waking up champions for the 2nd straight year. The team lifted the Stanley Cup last night after beating the Montreal Canadiens 1-0. The victory came in front of 18,000 home fans. The Lightning shared a celebration video in the locker room with a caption, "Cue the champagne." As you can imagine, there was champagne flying everywhere, lots of hooting and hollering with the Stanley Cup lifted. The title is the 3rd for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And now to business headlines. Rents in Indianapolis are projected to rise by 4.6% this year. That's according to Yard Matrix and is higher than the 3.4% increase the group predicted in January. The numbers confirm a trend we've seen all year as people move to more affordable cities and away from the expensive coastal places. Moderna and the U.S. military are working on a miniaturized vaccine manufacturing process. The goal is to develop a portable cube that can produce doses in mere days. It could improve global access to the mRNA medicine and help thwart outbreaks. Internal documents show that new Amazon CEO Andy Jassy has had a quota for the number of employees he would be happy to see leave each year. Business Insider Amazon closely follows a metric called unregretted attrition rate. Amazon says it expects 6% of workers will leave each year, either of their own volition and those who were fired for low performance. Theme park stocks are on fire as the summer heats up. Cedar Fair and Six Flags have soared as the economy has reopened and people are looking to travel and take affordable-ish vacations or even just day trips. Duke University researchers looked at the nutritional content of plant-based meat, and scientists say that the nutritional components may not be the same. Researchers found the largest disparities were in vitamins, amino acids, and types of saturated and unsaturated fatty acids. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast, The News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.